Okay, it's that time again, time to test myself over the 5k distance. This time, Quayside 5k in Newcastle, out and back along the river, nice and flat. Let's see what time I can come away with. Let's do this. So what is my aim for today? Well, the overall goal is sub 17. I ran 17:03 in York back in November. I'm pretty sure that under 17 minutes is wholly achievable, and I'd like to push that down as close to 16:40 as I can. So 16:40 is the A goal, if you will. 17 is the B goal, and then C goal, I guess it's a PB, but that would basically be sub 17 anyway. So I'm just gonna go out fast, try and hang on, and see what happens really. It's kind of a bit of a free hit out, even though it's a run through event, so it's very expensive, but I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. Just gonna run, have as much fun as I can in a 5k race. They're not really that fun in the grand scheme of things. They usually hurt quite a lot, but there we go. I'm gonna give it my best shot. And yeah, loads of people I know are doing it, so hopefully you should see some friendly and familiar faces, both running it and along the course, to give me that extra bit of motivation. So let's just see. As usual, I'm getting pretty nervous at this point. The pit of the stomach feeling is there. Hopefully that's the only stomach feeling that happens today. Get in the headspace, let's go and run a very fast 5 kilometers. Not looking forward to herring through those bollards later at hopefully quite a fast pace, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Oh yeah, we literally. Okay, that's my number collected on the warm-up jog now. I feel like I should say how I'm feeling, but I really just don't know. Pretty nervous as usual, but I'm not like particularly nervous. I feel a bit numb really, I guess. Just I really don't know what to expect from this or what's going to happen. I'm just going to start and take it as it comes pretty much. I will not be taking the camera around. This is a lock in and go situation, so no camera unfortunately, but so there might not be much footage, but I'll be sure to do a decent debrief and everything. This is a serious one. Okay, I'm running the final kilometre pretty much. There is a tiny bit of wind. I feel like I wouldn't think anything of it if it was an easy run, but going at 5k pace, I might feel that. So that's something to be aware of. Maybe I need to try and be behind someone at this point. But if that actually happens, who knows? And the wind might have completely changed by then. We'll see, we'll see. I feel like I should start doing a toilet review segment or something. Very, very good here, quite a lot, and not that busy, and very well stocked with toilet roll, which is the kind of important thing someone like me thinks about. Anyway, shoes on now, drill strides, get on with the race. Okay, shoes on, vest on, time to get serious. GoPro is going away, unfortunately. I will see you on the other side. Let's talk through the race. So I've got the footage of the live stream that I'll put here as well. Obviously I don't really feature in it much because I wasn't anywhere near the front. But the gun goes off, 7 o'clock, Callum Johnson, Gateshead Harrier, goes right to the front, followed by one of my friends, Luke, who's a great runner. Very gutsy start for him, going with Callum Johnson, and obviously the front of the race disappears to run things beginning with a 14, which I didn't, spoiler alert. I set off, and bearing in mind that I'd gone into this race with a couple of weeks of not very much running, 1 week of really not much running at all in comparison to my usual volume, so I was feeling very, very fresh, and that was reflected in my start. I did, the first couple of minutes were about 5-minute mile pace, which is way faster than I had anticipated, and there was a timing mat at 1 kilometre, and that was the only timing mat, I'm not quite sure why I was there, and that said I looked down at my watch when I crossed it, and it was about 3:14, 3:15, and I was thinking, wow, right, okay, that's a little bit quick. 3:15 is 16:15 for 5k, which I am almost positive I am definitely not in shape for. So I thought I have gone out pretty hot here, but it felt all right. It felt fast, like it felt physically fast. It was quite a windy start to the course. And like going under a bridge, the noise of everyone pounding through, it was like one of the best caliber races I think I've ever been in. So it was very intense, and I felt like I was really going fast. There are a lot of lampposts down the quayside, and I know this sounds weird, but going past things like that, a lot of racing you do is on like a track or on a very open bit of road. So going past lampposts at that speed, you realise quite how quickly you're going. Got to a mile and looked down at my watch and it said 5:18. And immediately I'm thinking, phew, pretty quick. But I felt absolutely fine. I felt so good. Could have been a threshold effort for all I knew. Like really, really felt good. So in my head, I'm starting to think, either something amazing is about to happen, or I'm going to catastrophically blow up. So I hoped for the former and kept going, obviously. Settled a bit in. I knew that was going to be a bit because of my really fast start. So I settled a little bit, kept going. And this was going west down the river, or up the river actually. I knew that we had wind behind us. So there are a few reasons I was like, okay, going fast, but that's all right. Settled into a bit more of a pace working with this group, and eventually reached the 2.5 kilometer mark. That'd be a very different race. Turned, and I was still feeling pretty good at this point. The turn was horrible. I hate U-turns at 5k pace. The effort required to come to a dead stop and then get going again is hideous. Immediately I felt some wind in my face. And I was thinking, oh, right, okay, this is going to play a bit of a factor. But kept going, 2 miles came up, and I think it was like 5:23, 5:24, something like that. So I'd slowed a little bit, but still good, still on course for sub 17, and still potentially on course for 16:40. But I knew that I was really entering the hurt locker now. 1.5k to go is always the point where I struggle the most, as do probably a lot of people. It's between 3 and 4k. You still got a way to go, but you're really, really, really hurting at this point. And because of the wind, I was trying to shield behind this North Shields Poly guy that was in front of me. This red vest, I remember reading North Shields Poly over and over and over again on the back of his vest. He wasn't really actually providing me with much wind shelter at all, and then I just clipped his foot a little bit. I was really close behind him, clipped his foot, obviously totally my fault. And that skewed with my brain a little bit. I was like, whoa, okay. That took me kind of, not exactly out of the moment, but like lost my focus, lost my rhythm from that moment, which I never really regained, to be honest. And I think my pain cave at the moment is pretty small, or there's a door over the entrance, partly because I've been having a bit of pain recently with Crohn's and things. So I reckon just that day-to-day pain has meant I can't really access that extra level of pushing as much as I would have wanted to. And then I got a little bit of stomach discomfort at that point. It's kind of like a cramp, I guess, essentially is the closest thing I can compare it to. Like really low down, not really stomach at all, low down in the digestive system. And that, my head really started to go there. I was thinking, oh, I really don't want to push through that kind of pain. Under the Spring Bridge, under the Tyne Bridge, and I could see the Millennium Bridge, and I was thinking, oh, like how on earth am I going to finish this with any sort of power? I could feel myself. It's that weird feeling. You'll only know this if you've raced raced a 5k to your maximum, whatever speed it is. I think you'll still get this feeling of you just ease off a little bit. You don't actually really slow down a bit, but it's almost like you mentally check out, and you just kind of. I didn't slow down much at all. I was still going pretty fast, but you're not pushing anymore. Like you're just easing off the gas a little bit, and I could feel that, which isn't. It's something I will need to address in the future. Anyway, through the bollards, which was sketchy, up the Millennium Bridge, down the Millennium Bridge, and that downhill is pretty steep actually when you're going at that pace and your legs are completely battered. And so I wasn't really fully sprinting, because I thought I'm just going to crash into a bollard and I'd rather not fall over. Across the line, 16 minutes on the clock, I'm happy. Don't really think much more of it than that. I didn't look at the seconds actually until a while after, and I was really happy that I'd got 16. I pushed a lot, not 100%, but I'll come on to that in a bit. But I pushed enough to get my sub 17 goal, which I'm very, very pleased about. A PB in the 16s is fantastic. But essentially, a well-executed race. I went off hard. And I did die a bit. Part of that was because of the wind, so I reckon the mile splits look a lot worse than the kilometre splits. I'll put the kilometre splits up here now. The kilometre splits are a lot more even. I think they're 318, 322, 319, 322, 325 or something like that. It'll be up there, obviously just from my watch. So they're a lot more even actually than the miles, which look a lot worse. So I think I did run a pretty decent race. I just didn't have it in the last kilometre. Didn't really have the guts mentally or potentially physically. So what I came to learn in the following days is essentially I probably shouldn't have run that race. As you know, you're probably sick to death of me saying it on this channel, stomach has not been good recently. Crohn's has been flaring up a little bit, and it turns out running 5k and really pushing yourself isn't great for the stomach. I've been left in a little bit of pain from that. The couple of days afterwards, stomach has not been too good, let's just say that, and it's quite uncomfortable after the race. So lesson learned for the future, don't race when you feel like that. But that really played into my not being able to push in the final kilometre, I think, which is fine. Like, I shouldn't have pushed anymore because I don't want to really do myself damage or anything like that. Races aren't cheap when you've paid for them. It's quite hard to take yourself out of them, especially a 5k where it's so small and you know that you're going to probably be able to get through it. That's a point for the future, and that brings me kind of on to the next couple of weeks, which I'll make a full video about in my Project 35 series in a bit. But to sum up, not too much running is going to happen in the next few weeks. Need to sort out the stomach, because I feel like that is the one limiting factor at the moment. Judging by the fact that I could run 16:51 with a lot of discomfort and rocky training going into it, I think that if I sort out my stomach, the legs and the lungs are ready to absolutely launch into the summer, hopefully. But just need to listen to my body a little bit, as I tell everyone to do, and get myself better, because that is the #1 priority. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.